Welcome to Seven River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness. Today, spotlight on the north side, Logan High School. 3 student athletes, seniors. First, Nina Kudimova, Caitlyn McQuiston-Keil, and Riley Powell. Welcome to the show, girls.
Thank you for having us.
Well, the next chapter in your life is about to begin. Graduation, as we tape this show, by the way. Graduation just a few days away. Nina, reflecting back, looking at what you've accomplished, thoughts, because it went by awful quick.
Oh, it sure did. I remember sitting in the theater and then seniors telling us, well, you know what? It's going to go by really fast. It's like, are you kidding me? Here I am, a freshman. I have 4 years to go. I'm like, don't even. Stop talking right now. It's not going to go by that fast. And now that I'm here, it's like, gosh. Now looking back at it, where did the time go? And it feels so weird to finally be done.
Regrets at all in your 4 years?
No, I mean, I think that I've done everything that I possibly could to make me me. And I don't really regret any of that because that's what, makes me me.
Well,
sorry.
That's okay. Caitlyn, I know you've accomplished a lot too, and you are about to graduate, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Two-sport athlete and so on. But it went by awful quick for you too, I am sure.
Oh, yeah.
And talk about how you reflect back on it.
I spent a lot of time studying and just making sure that I got good grades and could still be in the top 5% the whole year or the whole 4 years. And I guess if I were to go back and redo it, I would have told myself to relax a little because I put too much pressure on myself the entire time and it wasn't worth it. I should rephrase that. It was definitely worth it. I appreciate having good grades and stuff. But if I would have relaxed and still had 93%, I still would have had all A's. I didn't have to shoot for 101%.
Well,
that was just too much pressure.
A typical student first, athlete second, hard on themselves. I mean, come on, you're looking at somebody that's hard on themselves in the 6th decade of my life, and our children the same way. Riley, knowing you, since you were very young, as you know, friend of your family, grandparents, and so on, you've always been a high achiever too, and you have done well. And as you reflect, is there some emotions geez, this went by too quick? It's I wish I would have. Any of those kinds of thoughts?
Yeah, there were some sports that I was involved in, gymnastics and things like that I didn't necessarily do all 4 years. And even though I was really involved, I think I could have even been a little bit more. Just because, when I reflect back on high school and, graduating and everything else, I feel like I take advantage of everything, but I definitely feel like there was more that I could have done. So that kind of just sucks, but I definitely was very involved, and I'm thankful for that.
I'm thankful for getting to know you over the years in tennis and soccer. Two-sport athlete, you balanced all of that very well. You excelled in them, but you didn't let academics become secondary. Again, two-sport athlete. Talk about, you have a favorite, and talk about those two things and your accomplishments.
Yeah, so tennis I've done all through middle school into high school. I did that 2 years in high school, but soccer I've pretty much played my whole life. That's something that I like to do just with friends, just play around, but on a competitive note as well. I really enjoyed playing for Logan.
Then I've watched Caitlyn play.
Oh.
You didn't know I was there watching.
Probably not, no.
Because you were so engrossed with your sport and focused, yes?
Yeah,
But I was there, but you were a two-sport athlete, and you did well.
Yeah, I played tennis and soccer. I've played tennis since I was in 5th grade, probably. Obviously, wasn't very competitive then, but I don't know. In 6th grade, I was kind of trying to decide what I wanted to do, if I wanted to do cross country or tennis, because I was going to wait until volleyball, because you couldn't play volleyball till you're in 7th grade at Logan. But I'm really glad I picked tennis because I definitely would have hated my life if I ran a lot.
I play some tennis at my age, and I enjoy it. I'm not real competitive, but decent, I guess. But of course, I follow tennis on TV every chance I can. I enjoy watching gifted tennis players. Certainly when you look at people like Serena Williams and some people at that level, it's highly impressive, the gift that they have. Do you model yourself after any professional tennis players?
Not really. I'm going to be honest, I don't watch TV that often because usually I'm like working on schoolwork because I'm so crazy like that. But when I do, usually I just watch like football or something like sports I don't
Really?
play.
She watches football. Okay. Nina, number one, tennis. Doubles.
Doubles,
And
yes.
exactly. So you have a gift in that area. I suspect you started when you were young.
Well, not young like Caitlyn. I started in 6th grade, and then I've been playing ever since. But yeah, I definitely enjoy doubles more than singles. I've unfortunately played singles for most of my tennis career, and I've just realized that, sometimes I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to, playing my opponent. I'm usually my own opponent because they say is it like 70% mental?
Yeah.
Yeah, tennis is like,
agree with you, though.
tennis is so much of like mental strength. You have to cheer yourself on. Even when the opponent's family is sitting there like applauding when you miss or something like that. It gets you a little irritated, but you have to keep yourself mentally strong and in the game. And, it's really funny with my number one doubles partner this year. We sang High School Musical songs between, like, side changes because it was just... Well, first of all, it got us kind of, like, relaxed and weren't, like, worried. We kind of were, like, loose and, happy with, singing instead of worrying about, what are we going to do as we change sides. Because a lot of those songs that we sang were kind of like, get your head in the game, I want it all. Like, they kind of got you in this mindset. So, and it was also like just distracting from the fact that we were losing or that maybe the opponent was not being very, like, sportsman-like. Mm-hmm. So it just is really a good kind of like mindset to get yourself into.
Well, sure, because, gifted athletes oftentimes crumble like the proverbial cookie does because of the lack of the mental discipline. The mental is to the physical as the number 4 is to the number 1. 4 times more important. You're exactly right. But you had some success there because you went on and played at a pretty high level, didn't you? And you advanced to the postseason?
Right, yes. So my doubles partner and I actually made it to sectionals. And I mean, it was just so great to be there and to be able to play among, some of the most talented girls in the state. And it was really unfortunate, though. I mean, because we had made it up to such a high level, our last match that we played together to finish off the season was kind of tragic. We lost pretty badly, and that's when it hit me like, oh my gosh, that was my last match of my entire high school tennis career. And that's how it went.
But Nina, my friend, it's the body of work that is more important. But
that's right.
Nina, too, you're a teen volunteer at Mayo.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I really, I had to kind of balance my my time, and I unfortunately wasn't able to make it to all of my tennis matches in the fall because I was either busy with this or that, and I was working and I had volunteer work that I had committed myself to. So it was kind of like, you say academics first, and then athletics second. For me, what fit into like that academic aspect of my life was like also giving back and preparing myself for my future, kind of. So it was, I wanted to go out into the community and just work with people and just really do as much as I could, as well as, my academics.
Well, that says a lot about you, Nina. And Caitlyn, you don't take a back seat to any of that because top 5% of your class, Student of the Month, National Honor Society, DECA, Interact, any time for anything else?
Actually, no.
Did I cover them all?
Pretty much, yeah.
So you left school, or when you leave school, and you look back in that proverbial rear view mirror, and you took advantage of every opportunity that was given to you. there's a sense of real, pure satisfaction.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was a part of a lot of things. Like, it might have been stressful to be in all of that and to push myself to do super well in school and stuff, but it really paid off because I got into a good college and
You did. We're going to talk about it too, but before we take a break, Riley, looking at your resume, academic honor roll, you just achieved a great deal in the classroom too, and that says a lot about who you are, including being involved in DECA, which is for people wanting to achieve something in in business, education, and leadership.
Yeah, I really liked it. Me and Caitlyn were actually DECA partners, so we actually competed together and worked together when we would do our role plays and things like that. And we actually made it to state this year, which is really awesome.
I heard that, so I'm aware of that. So that's quite an accomplishment. Well, we're going to step aside just for a minute. When we come back more as we profile these 3 exceptional student athletes from Logan High School. We'll be right back.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports Walk. Today, great interview with the Logan Ranger student athletes, Nina Kudimova, Caitlyn McQuiston-Keil, and Riley Powell. Riley, parents, family, big part of who you are.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very close with both my parents, my mom and my dad, as well as my brother Nathaniel, who's actually a freshman at Logan this year. Definitely consider him one of my best friends. He's been there through it all. Super close with my family, for sure.
Every time I see you at an event, whether it's athletics or whatever, they're there behind you, aren't they?
Yeah, very supportive.
And I know that, Caitlyn, that family, parents define you too.
Yeah, my parents are always there to support me, and it really means a lot because, I don't know, it's sometimes when I'm having a bad day, they'll just know exactly what to say, or they'll be there to hug me and make everything better.
And Nina, I know your mom a little bit. I know who she is. And she is a rock for you, isn't she?
Yeah, she really is. And I mean, growing up, having been born in Russia and having lived in Russia for some part of my life, I mean, that family, the culture kind of has shaped my, my appreciation for family and those values. I mean, I am a CNA, certified nursing assistant, but then when I come home, I'm also taking care of my grandma who lives with us. So through thick and thin, we're always there backing each other up, taking care of each other.
So your roots are in Russia, the largest country in the world, by the way, in terms of square footage, acreage, and so on. And school, I've read a lot about Russian schools and the traditional model, and I don't know if our viewers know this, and we're going to talk about your career, but the most, I guess, sought-after country to go to medical school is in Russia. Their degree of teaching in medicine, low cost of living for students, not a lot of frills, but a lot of people are a little bit in the dark on what Russia's culture is all about, what school's all about, but you know a little bit about it. Share some of that.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's, you don't hear a lot of the good, I guess, coming out of Russia. All you hear about is, like, basically just what is not good. So thank you for asking about that. And yes, I mean, education in Russia is super, like, super rigorous, I guess I would use that word. When I went back there to visit with some of my friends, I had been talking about, okay, so we're learning how to multiply, or we're learning how to do this in grade school now. And they're like, oh, really? We did that like 3 years ago in my third grade class, or I don't know, whatever that was. So, I mean, it just kind of is interesting that you don't really hear about them being like that successful in all these like fields, but then they're like they're really preparing their students for whatever comes next.
They really are. And so Russia's on my bucket list. to travel to sometime, so we'll have to see. Not that I'm going to medical school because it's too late for that, but at some point I'd like to do that. Nina, too, one thing that just struck me pretty in a profound way is the fact that just defining who you are is the fact that you took a, well, you're in the Health Science Academy. We know a little bit about that, but you went someplace that I intend on going to at some point, and that's the Pine Ridge Native American Reservation.
That's right. Yeah, I went in the summer of last year, 2017, and gosh, that trip, I don't want to be cheesy and say that was so life-changing, but it really did open up my eyes to something so much greater than what I know here. I mean, I like to think that, you know, having grown up somewhere else, I have kind of like a different perspective, but that just really added another dimension to that. You know, with my goal to end up in the medical field and to be helping people, it's really important to keep in mind people's culture, and having, you know, talked to them and made those relationships and friendships with the Lakota people, and having worked with their youth on leadership skills. I mean, gosh, I've benefited from that hopefully as much as they have. Because, I mean, it wasn't just us going over there to teach them. We learned so much about their culture and their needs and their beliefs as well.
Multiple takeaways from that experience, didn't you?
Definitely.
And Caitlyn, you've had some defining experiences too, and what impresses me is that, like Nina, you're going into the field of education, or field of medicine after you finish your long process of school and then grad school and so on. So those are your plans, and those are lofty plans for you. Have you always wanted to be be a physician?
No, actually for a long time I didn't know what I wanted to be. When I was little, I wanted to be a spy. I don't really know why. I just did.
Did you watch a show like I Spy or something, or an international spy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it came
working
from.
For the United States?
Yeah.
Spying on other countries, except Russia, of course.
Obviously, no. It's a little scary. But then I wanted to be a teacher for a while, and then I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I decided that's too much of like a desk job for me. Then I wanted to be a cop. Then I decided I couldn't do that. And then I finally came up with a doctor.
Good. So. Just out of the clear blue sky, like I want to be a doctor?
Well, I knew I wanted to help people, and I didn't want to have to like do the same thing every single day. So.
Well, you know this father of pediatrics is back in the 1700s with a Swedish physician. You'll learn about that when you get to medical school. So going back to when you were young and playing with dolls and so on, and if somebody asked you, Riley, like, what are you going to be when you grow up? What'd you say?
A doctor.
Really?
Really, almost my whole life. I think in kindergarten one time during circle time, I said that I wanted to be a hairdresser. But then I remember in first grade for Christmas, I actually got like a doctor coat that said Dr. Powell on it. So that was kind of that was definitely
first
the
start. Hairdresser, then.
Yes.
Can you plant hair and somebody just losing their hair?
You know, maybe that'll be what I do. That might be what I do.
Those extensions.
We'll see.
I think it's more rewarding for you to become a physician than it is a hairstylist.
I definitely think so.
Although I think you spend a lot of time, like most girls do, our grandchildren, taking care of their hair, which is good. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but and maybe a dermatologist?
Definitely.
I know. I visit my dermatologist once in a while, and he says, Terry, I told you to stay out of the sun, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I've just always found dermatology interesting.
Why is that?
I'm really not sure, but like popping pimples is definitely, I want to do that as my job.
So satisfying.
It definitely is very satisfying.
Nina, I know you indicated medical field. Any particular area?
You know what? I had so many like specific, like on the dot, specific desires in the medical field. Like at one point, I wanted to be a surgeon that only does laparoscopic surgery. And oh boy, I had a surgical mentorship actually, my final semester at Logan, and in surgery, so every Wednesday morning I would go into the OR and like watch a surgery being performed, and then I remembered I'm a little bit squeamish. So
wow, what an experience. So that's incredible.
Yes.
All All of us had people that have inspired us. I can think back to many people in my life. I still reflect on that quite often. Who's inspired you, Nina?
Oh boy. Well, we do have a family friend that has done a lot for just basically growing my passions and kind of mentoring me throughout these past couple of years. And that is our friend who's actually a dermatologist at Mayo Clinic, Dr. Michael White. So, I mean, he's just done so much for my family and opened up my, he's kind of introduced me into the art community of lacrosse. I mean, before I was interested in art and I'd just basically be at my desk at home sitting and just drawing portraits, and that was kind of all I thought it would ever equate to be. And ever since our family, ever since he's become our family friend, I have had these opportunities to go out and, you know, there's a studio now that I try to attend weekly. They have studio sessions. And I actually had my own, I was featured in an art show not too long ago and actually sold my first piece of art.
Ooh,
so I
didn't know that.
Really, just on all levels has inspired me and just helped me grow as a person.
Good for you. And who's inspired you, Caitlyn?
Either my parents or my cousin, because my cousin pushed really hard in high school to make sure she got good grades and everything, and now she's going to school to be a physician's assistant, and she just constantly gives 100%, and my parents just always do whatever they think is best for me and Ashley, no matter the cost.
Great.
So.
Somebody close to you has been an inspiration in your life, Riley?
Definitely my brother, Nathaniel. When I was in 8th grade, I believe he was in 6th grade, or maybe he was in 5th grade. He actually was diagnosed with stage 4 thyroid cancer, and that, I think, for me, it made me grow up fast. I think with having divorced parents as well, there was just a lot of things, I think both with my brother and just with me and the rest of my family, there was a lot of things going on that kind of had to make me pick and choose my battles, and I think the reason why he's such an inspiration for me is just because of how he's dealt with everything since day one. I mean, he did sports all year round, very involved. He's very loving. He's really close with his family and his friends, and I think just the way that he dealt with it and the way that he was just so optimistic about everything, it just teaches me, like, you really should never take anything for granted. And
well said. He's an inspiration to me, too, and, of course, I have as much admiration for him as you do, knowing your family. Rapid fire drill in the last few seconds. What's your favorite saying?
I think enjoy the little things.
And you're doing that. Now, not a lot of young people would say that they're enjoying little things, but you seem to have an advantage over a lot of people. And and Caitlyn, philosophy of life, saying what you...
Well, my dad always tells me to keep calm and chive on. I'm not really sure why, but it works pretty well.
Do you keep calm?
Actually, it does help a lot just to think about that.
One of my favorite kind of authors is Paul Brandt, who has a saying, too, that you seem to like.
Is that the, don't say that the sky's the limit when there's footsteps on the moon? Or... That's
the one.
Yeah.
Don't say the sky's the limit when there's footsteps on it. In other words, you can go higher than the sky?
Of course. There's always, and especially with medicine, that can relate to all of us, there's always so many more things just waiting to be discovered. We can't just stop at the comfort zone where we think that we know everything. There's always so much more that you can do.
Don't dwell in the temple of mediocrity.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying. And I think that particular quote of going further than the sky into the moon, because that's the footsteps, applies to all three of you, because you're all going to be highly successful. And I cannot wait to follow their success stories after graduation, which, by the way, happens just in a few days as we tape this show. It's been more than just a pleasure to have you, Nina, Caitlyn, and Riley on the show. So thanks for being my guest here this week.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts and some baseball clips right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, we certainly live in a beautiful part of the country, and as a result, plenty of things to do in the Cooley region, including hiking and biking, music in the park, you name it, all kinds of activities. Get involved in some of these things and take advantage of the beautiful weather here in the La Crosse area. Coming up soon, July 4th, actually, the Firecracker 4-mile race to benefit both the Autism Foundation and the Children's Museum. I hope to see you there for that event. We continue to broaden our lists of guests as we try to improve our show. If you have a thought on a guest for an upcoming show, please contact us here at the studio. Check your local listings, as each week we bring you Knights of Thunder Racing each and every Thursday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us this week. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you have a safe, enjoyable, and an active week ahead.